I thought all my experiments were a failure lately, but I just checked the bathroom and one of my glues actually dried, and it's a pretty solid chunk. And it's like an iron polymer. You can actually polymerize metal, and it's kind of its original how it works, because you are actually I make a quick ester with methanol and citric acid and a little bit of glycerin. Then once I've got it to about honey viscosity, I put it in water and thin it in a lot of water. And then what I do is I add the metal powder to it. Then I put it on a really low heat, and something special happens. It starts to oscillate. It sort of goes, whooshes into the liquid, and then it settles out, and then it goes into the liquid, and it settles out like an oscillation. It actually oscillates, the metal powder oscillates inside the liquid on a very low heat. If you put the heat up too much, the whole thing foams up and explodes. So you do it under reflux to keep the water in it, and it's only very low heat, and every time it goes in and falls back out again, a little bit stays inside until eventually, if you keep going for the whole about 2 days, there's no metal powder left, it's all inside the liquid. And then once the metal powder is inside the honey and water, you pour it out, and it now is solid when the water dries off. So it makes this glue. And I worked it out myself. So this was a very poor dry. This is just a random chunk in a whole lot of mess of it. So there's a lot of details I don't understand yet. But this dried from full liquid. This was like water to rock. It shouldn't be rock. It's supposed to be a semi-solid, like a plastic. But you got to get the viscosity of the honey right and add the right amount of metal powder. And then it should be flexible and can take impacts. This won't be able to take impacts. It might as well be a rock. But this is actually methylated spirits, citric acid, and iron powder in the form of a rock. Yeah, so it can be flexible. It's not as strong as professional plastic they make screwdrivers out of, industrial strength screwdrivers, but it's possibly a little bit weaker than ABS. But I did it myself, and I should be able to make a handle for it. I should be able to make a polymer handle. You know, like if I had this wire clamping tool, it's probably strong enough to put a handle on this fucking wing nut at the end if I wanted to. Not use the pliers anymore. So polymers, they're not as strong as metal, but they can just make it in the use case, and then you don't need to have metal. If plastic will do the job, it's so much easier to set it. So if you're almost as strong as ABS will make a good handle. Just get some ABS in acetone, and you can make a good handle with ABS. And this is probably a bit weaker than ABS, but it's homemade. And that actually air dried from water thin. Pretty good, eh? But there's a whole lot of crap that didn't work, and it was all like, I thought the whole thing was a failure, but turns out there was a chunk in it that worked. But I think that iron doesn't want to work as well as aluminium does.